our next presenter this evening, if you're ready. He had one request, and it was to go after Seth. That was it. John Caserta is a Providence-based designer and educator. He's on the adjunct facility in graphic design at RISD, and he runs the design office, a collaborative workspace in downtown Providence. So, without further ado, here he is.
All right, so I'm deeply interested in the mid-century modern office. Large open spaces like this one, Frank Lloyd Wright's Johnson Wax building is, to me, a great work, a great piazza of productivity, I would call it. Workers interacted with each other and were dependent on the furniture and the tools themselves to make what they were doing. So we see like adding machines and rotary phones and a million objects, metal usually, very heavy, and then bodies blurry and in motion, different pictures, same place. So now we're faced with this sort of digital age. There are fewer and fewer objects. This is a New York Times, this is actually the cafeteria, so there's not actually a lot of computers in the cafeteria generally, although there's a meeting or two happening. But there's fewer objects. If you walk into a modern office space, a contemporary office space, you'll find digital address books and digital calendars and digital adding machines, for lack of a better word. So the things are leaving us. So in starting the design office, which is essentially a shared office space, about 3.5 years ago, I was influenced by this previous era quite a bit. The type, the color, the aesthetic certainly is appealing to me. The sort of optimism about industry that was occurring post-World War II. Images like this being sort of at the heart of what I wanted to do. People in conversation with each other. There's 4 of us there, and we share things. We share the objects of an office space, like scanners and printers and light tables and stapler, like excessively large staplers for excessively large pieces of papers. Occasionally little boxes like that. And this mentality actually transfers fairly well to the digital age as far as sharing digital bookmarks and online archiving and so forth. So it makes sense that if we share the things that we consume, that we actually might work together and create things that we might consume, particularly in the digital mentality. We're a little bit older than that, by the way, but I do love those pictures. So that leads me to this piece of furniture that many artists have, many galleries have, which is a flat file cabinet. This from 1969. It's a much-loved piece of furniture. It's very, very useful. It holds things. This one has like wood paneling. It almost looks like one of the old TVs. This is a sort of more contemporary, like a RISD, essentially a bank of flat file cabinets outside the RISD graduate department that's doing quite a bit of work. It's a workhorse of an object. And I would say it's a truly modern object. It's it's easily accessible. You can find your items in it. The contents of the cabinet are as findable as what you put in it. So this, I guess I'm sort of like launching this website thing, which I'm going to show you in a second, which is based on the physical flat file cabinet. And this is a card that just printed up from Dan Wood tonight, so it's sort of a fresh thing. Thank you, Dan. I did have to take a FedEx for him, though. Did Dan make it? No. All right. This is the digital flat file, essentially. To give you kind of like a dial-up modem demo. Just imagine like the screen reloading every 20 seconds. So we're like kind of waiting for the next page. The mouse hasn't quite moved. There it goes. Okay. And I didn't like clear all my... Okay, everything's good. Okay. So we're looking at a website that you can use for yourself. This is an artist in New York who was one of our early adopters as we were beta testing. I sort of want to go after Seth because I know he's producing web material, and I thought might kind of lead up to this site, which is really ready to go. And you're looking at thumbnails, essentially analogous to what you might find in a physical cabinet. So for Hilda, she's looking at the website as she's organizing by her body of work. So sky being a project, and essentially a bunch of images about that piece or that project. Kind of move in and see the work itself, and the image is like scaled for you, and there's a database there that's kind of dealing with different size images, and she can like paste this in whatever form. It's like amazing if you've ever tried to use, there's a lot of tools out there obviously, but so many of them have like rules. They kind of want you to like insert the date in this one little field. So if you like have a Word file like me, or a Pages file with like all your life in it, you find yourself like copying and pasting all day long. So we sort of want to make it easy for people who have their stuff and just want to kind of get it up. This would be like a tag page, which is now gone because our web connection is sped up. Now we're looking at a news page, which is essentially what you might want to use if you're like trying to promote a show in this case, or like want to keep a blog, sort of like your process, or and we have like nice little buttons that you can click. So then I had to kind of gratuitously go into like a project that we worked on at the office, which is a collection of photographs of Hobo, which is a typeface that's loved by maybe 2% of the people in here. But and then we just decided we were bored, and we went over to Eamon Brown's website because he makes amazing work, and in this case has videos on his site, which is live actually. All this stuff is actually like on the internet. This is the back end. So there's a couple screens that show you sort of like what your life might look like if you're actually working in your flat file cabinet, and posts are essentially artworks, and you can kind of put all your stuff up here and organize it in certain ways. This is an image library which works the same way. So I've already started to sort of personally sort of move a lot of things online just because it's kind of there and not on my hard drive if my computer crashes, but also I can make use of it, which is really nice. Of course, I'm like 2 pages behind. And you can choose whatever color you want. That's the other thing. So this is my last slide. So essentially it's ready to go. And as a RISD faculty member, there's a biennial that starts tomorrow. So I'm going to do a little shout out for all the RISD people who have work in the show. There's 205 pieces of work, and I actually had someone come photograph all of them, and we put it in a flat file website. So there's actually a kiosk at the show if you want to look on the 3rd floor starting tomorrow night.
All right, let's hear it for John. There's a couple other people here this evening that have worked in that show. I know my friend JJ does. So definitely, let's get a round for JJ also. Just because he is awesome. No other reason. So yes, definitely check that show out tomorrow night.